Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, President Rodrigo Duterte vows to end corruption until the end of his term. This time, he is offering reward money for reporting corrupt officials and ghost projects. Also, the debate on the sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, or SOGIE bill, heats up as the LGBTQ plus community pushes for equal rights and anti-discrimination practices. A group warns that the SOGIE bill could create a super special elite class. Bataan Representative Geraldine and Manila Representative Benny Abante join us live. President Rodrigo Duterte is looking into another solution to run after corrupt officials in government. Speaking to the nation last night, the president said he's offering a cash reward to those who can give leads or information about ghost projects in the government. He says he's willing to pay 50 to 100,000 pesos for tipsters, depending on the scope or cost of the project. Here's the president in his own words.
Pagmamalaking mga contract, huwag mo lang sabihin pangalan mo, ibulong mo lang na niluluto yan. I'll give you 100,000 and I will keep your identity secret until I reach my grave. Hindi ko kayo bubukuhin, hindi ko kayo papasubo. At kung nalaman kayo, tapos hinaharas kayo, paalamin mo ako, I will deal with the devil.
In other news, a trans woman files a complaint against an elderly woman who assaulted her last week in a now viral video posted by the victim, Alexis Hart Garcia. An elderly woman named Aling Susan was seen verbally assaulting Alexis. Aling Susan, who called herself a born-again Christian, even made expletives through a rock and threatened to have Alexis killed simply for being gay. The incident comes as lawmakers tackle the controversial sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, or SOGIE equality bill. Let's go straight to the sources of the story. Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine and Manila 6th District Representative Benny Abante Jr. We begin with Congresswoman Congresswoman Geraldine, welcome to The Source, and thank you for your time. Good to have you again.
Thank you very much, Pinky, for having me again.
All right. It was a heated debate last week. It actually even trended on Twitter. Congresswoman, let's first discuss, just so everybody knows, the status of the SOGIE bill. I understand this was even filed way back in the year 2000.
It was first filed in the 11th Congress, actually, by former Congresswoman Etta Rosales. And with each batch of Congress, there have always been lawmakers who have attempted to push for the enactment of the said measure.
And the status of the bill now?
And the status of the bill now, we are 16 principal authors, and it is being deliberated on in the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
And when you were talking about that then, as I mentioned a while ago, Congresswoman, last week, let's discuss what happened during that hearing. You were angered when an attorney, Attorney Lyndon Cana of the Coalition of Concerned Families of the Philippines, suggested that the plus sign, from how I understood it, the plus sign in the LGBTQIA plus be identified, because it eventually went to the words pedophilia and even necrophilia, because posible daw that this could be included. Did I understand that right?
Yes, Pinky. Actually, I'm not a person who is easily angered. I am known in Congress to be very mahinahon. I am the epitome of grace under pressure. But when I heard that kind of insinuation, that eventually he said that the LGBTQI plus would also include pedophiles and necrophiles, and that this law would provide protection towards them. I have to admit, I'm only human. Nag-init po talaga ang ulo ko. Nagpantig ang tenga ko. Medyo nagdilim pa ang aking bista. And I had to call him out. I told him, how dare you? This is the House of Representatives. Do you actually think that we will legislate something that will allow necrophilia and pedophilia? How dare you? So any kind of insinuation in that direction is definitely not welcome. On the other hand, as Bishop Abante and the other opponents of the bill have noted also, we welcome constructive observations, but not to the point of insulting our very dignity. Alam mo, nalulungkot ako, Pinky. Ihanay ba naman kaming LGBT sa mga necrophiles, pedophiles? It says a lot about how some people view our community, and it really pains me. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the context of that, no, Congresswoman, was obviously the plus in the LGBTQIA. I think what he said, Attorney Cana, was leading to, ang pinag-uusapan kasi natin dito, of course, these weren't his words, no, sexual orientation. So doon ata siya napunta, no, Congresswoman. Sabi niya, paano naman yung matanda na magkagusto sa bata o your fancy for the dead? Kaya nga doon daw lumabas yung pwede bang maisama dito ang pedophilia at being pedophile and necrophilia. That's where it started, right?
Yes, that's how it started. But you know what, Pinky? If you attend our committee deliberations prepared and you do your research, no serious psychological association in the world would ever include pedophilia or necrophilia as a valid sexual orientation. These are called paraphilia. And besides, I've been telling this again and again, every committee hearing, do not be worried about the definition of sexual orientation and gender identity and expression, because these concepts are already defined under Philippine laws. Well, first, we have the Safe Spaces Act, Republic Act 11313, which defines what SOGIE is, or sexual orientation and gender identity and expression, and it also defines what LGBTQI is. So, meron din po tayong HIV. So that those concepts are already defined. So to actually open the definition of SOGIE or LGBT to include these deviations, these sexual perversion is already the product of an over-productive, over-imaginative mind, you see. So dun lang tayo kung sa sinasabi ng batas, kung anong SOGIE, kung anong LGBTQI+.
So, clearly, Congresswoman, hindi po kayo naniniwala doon sa sinasabi ng ilan na yung SOGIE, ang definition po nito ay subjective.
Well, we already have a law, in fact, 2 laws that define what sexual orientation and gender identity and expression are. Ako naman kasi, it's easy to find out if a person is gay or not, or trans or not. So, napakadali lang yun. Nagbubulag-bulagan na lang tayo kung ayaw nating makilala na talagang may mga tao na male and female sila, pero iba ang kanilang sexual orientation and their gender identity and expression. But nevertheless, ang lagi kong binabalik he is, kahit ano pa man ang sexual orientation and gender identity and expression, human beings po, tao po, at Pilipino kaming mga LGBTQ.
You know, I want to go back to that video that we played a while ago. I'm not sure, I'm sure you saw it, no, Congresswoman. So, meron pong mas nakakatanda na dumadaan po itong transgender, si Alexis. Pagdaan po niya, binato siya. At tinatawag po siyang bakla. Yun nga yung sinabi ni Alexis, kahit na anong gawin mo, tao pa rin ako. Yung mga ganitong sitwasyon, how do you feel? Well, number 1, pag nakikita mo yung ganito, at number 2, will a SOGIE bill protect someone like Alexis?
You know what, Pinky, when I saw the video that went viral on social media, talaga nalungkot ako. Sabi ko, talaga palang may tao pang ganito ang pag-iisip at this time and age, no? And alam mo, nagsususpecha ko, it was kind of surreal. At I had to think na baka may mga mental health issues itong si Aling Susan. Nevertheless, nagpa-blotter sa barangay si Alexis. And I would also say that there is a law with limited, very limited scope, not as wide and comprehensive as the SOGIE Equality Bill, that could actually protect her. This is the Safe Spaces Act. The Safe Spaces
Act. Yes.
Anti-Bastos law actually says that you can fly the streets, you can walk the streets without fear of being insulted, like what Aling Susan did to Alexis. So meron pong batas, which is not to say that the Safe Spaces Act is sufficient to cover all types of discrimination. So yun lang po.
That's why you're saying, kasi there's an argument, Congresswoman, na meron na kasing Safe Spaces Act or yung anti-bastos law. Bakit kailangan pa ng SOGIE bill? Yung anti-bastos law kasi protects the LGBTQIA+ against sa mga bastos. In public places, workplace, terminal na mga bus, mga kalsada, that's what it covers. But the SOGIE bill goes way above that. Kasi the SOGIE bill already talks about do not discriminate if the person is a member of the LGBTQIA. On employment, in school, ganun yun di ba? It takes it a notch further.
You're right, Pinky. Actually, the coverage of the SOGIE Equality Bill is wider. Ang Safe Spaces Act na pala does not only protect members of the LGBT community, it also protects women, minors, lahat ng tao laban sa pambabastos at pag-iinsulto sa mga pampublikong lugar. But the SOGIE Equality Bill is very specific. It goes against discrimination at the workplace. For example, if you are already being prepared for promotion, you're ready for promotion na, but your employers take into consideration your sexual orientation and gender identity expression, which are irrelevant to the nature of your work, and they do not promote you. Or if they fire you, if they find out that you are homosexual. So yung mga gantong kaso, or for example, in the delivery of basic government services, katulad nitong nakaraang distribution ng social amelioration program, marami nagsusumbong sa akin, LGBT ang humingi ng SAP, ay tinatanggihan ng mga barangay officials. Sinasabihan sila, hindi naman kayo pamilya, hindi naman kayo tunay na mag-asawa. So the question basically is, hindi na ba kumakain at wala na bang basic na pangangailangan ang mga LGBTQ people simply because they are LGBTQ? So ito po ang mga kaso na ninanais bigyan lunas at iwasan ng SOGIE Equality Bill. It's as simple as that. It is an anti-discrimination bill.
But another point raised regarding the SOGIE bill is that tinatawag daw itong posibleng super special elite. Para lumalabas kayo, ang LGBTQI with this law becomes a super elite class. Why? Because there is a disparity in the penalties under the SOGIE bill, which ranges from about 250,000 pesos to 500,000. May kulong pa or kulong. And then kakaiba, mas mababa naman doon sa similar offense under the revised penal code. So that question I know was raised also during that hearing. Bakit pag sa SOGIE ang taas ng penalty? Kapag hindi naman, kapag straight naman at parehong offense ay napakababa ng punishment.
You know what, to begin with, Pinky, hindi natin mapapresyohan ang dangal ng isang tao. If they feel na masyadong mababa and that disparate yung penalties provided under the SOGIE Equality Bill and the revised penal code, well, we can always amend the revised penal code to raise the penalties against similar types of offenses. My point is this: when we have a situation that has been going on for ages and that has already been institutionalized in a certain sense and normalized, kung saan ang LGBT has always been viewed as salot sa lipunan, na dapat i-discriminate, dapat tuhin with disdain at pagmamaliit at panghuhusga, well, we have to set a very, very clear message to society. And it seems that the only way that we can do it here in the Philippines is by criminalizing
All right.
acts of discrimination and penalizing them correspondingly. Pero itong
Do you
special
think that
Pinky yung sinasabing special, ang isa pa nilang argument is that bakit meron pang separate bill for the LGBT community? That makes you a special class, elite class. Well, I'm happy to announce that we have also special laws for women, like the Anti-Violence Against Women and Children. We have the Child Protection Act. We have the IPRA, or the Indigenous Peoples Act. We also have special laws for senior citizens with their corresponding discounts and privileges. But nobody screams, oh, women, children, people with disabilities, senior citizens are special people. Pero bakit pagdating sa LGBT, we try to correct a situation, but everybody immediately says, oh, it's special.
All right. Okay, Bataan Representative Geraldine Roman, Congresswoman, nice to have you and take care.
Thank you very much, Pink.
Coming up, we speak to Manila Representative Benny Abante, and find out why some lawmakers are opposing the SOGIE Equality Bill. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Manila Representative Benny Abante. Congressman, let me already ask you this. Ano ho ba ang biggest opposition ninyo dito po sa SOGIE bill?
Well, unang-una, Pinky, I'd like to say, I find all forms of discrimination reprehensible and believes that it is the responsibility of Congress to address the social ill. Finally, by punishing those who discriminate against Filipino citizens or against any human being. The Constitution provides protection for all and guards against all forms of discrimination. And sa akin lang, I'd like to stress that discrimination has different forms, facets, phases, and there can also be various bases for discrimination. Kaya nga ako, nag-author ako na tinatawag nating Anti-Discrimination Act of 2020, and this encompasses all kinds of discrimination. Kasi pag SOGIE bill lang yan, you open the Pandora's box of other class legislation bills. Mga special laws na matatawag natin. Later on, makikita mo, meron ng ang dami-dami ng batas. Pero kung ito, gagawin natin sa isa lang, na tinatawag nating anti-discrimination bill, lahat yan, kasama na dyan. Ito, for example, ethnicity, race, religious belief, sex, or gender orientation, civil status, disability, educational attainment, HIV status, lahat yan nasa anti-discrimination bill. Kaya hindi na kailangan itong SOGIE bill, Pinky. No? This class legislation, you do not give special right to a certain group of people.
Pero Congressman, ang sabi kanina, I'm sure you heard ni Congresswoman Roman, hindi lang naman ang LGBTQIA+ ang hinihinga nitong special law, as it's been siguro described by some. Kasi meron naman ho talagang batas para sa women, para sa senior citizens. So what makes this different? Why not give it to the LGBTQIA+ community?
Well, this makes different because look, 50 years ago, wala niyan, no? But I have to face reality. That's reality now, di ba? I mean, 30 years ago, lesbian lang, gays lang yan. Ngayon, meron ng LGBTIQ. Now, during my time in Congress in 2004, pinag-uusapan lang yung gays. Ngayon, 2008, pinag-uusapan na yung transgender. Ngayon po, in 2020, marami na LGBTIQ. Baka meron po madagdag dyan, Pinky, no? Kaya sabi ko, why don't we just get an encompassing law? And we call it the anti-discrimination bill. Kasi, look, I don't think, yung kaninang nakita ko na discrimination, that is a rarity. No? Hindi yan palaging nangyayari. At kung kiniklaim niya, born-again Christian siya, dapat disiplinahin siya sapagkat she is not actually showing her being a Christian. No? Now, sabi ng Bible, you ought to love all men. All men, ano man ang kanyang description, ano man ang kulay niyan, ano man ang kanyang orientation, love them. Okay? Na hindi nangangahulugan, I accept their lifestyle. But here am I.
Apo.
I will defend your right to say it even if I don't agree with you. No? Democratic institution, ano nakalagay? Let and let live. Okay? I mean, kung gusto niyo magsama, na dalawang lalaki kayo, it's up to you. I will not discriminate on you. Pero, do not also go against me if I say something against you because that's what I believe in. Let and let live. Di ba?
Okay. Opo. Oh, but all right. But a good point here that needs to be discussed is something, if we were to siguro condense the SOGIE bill, which is, of course, marami naman pong facets ito, no? Congressman Abante, na gusto nila, nandiyan na po yung Anti-Bastos Act, yung Safe Spaces Act, pero with this SOGIE bill, what it really does is, in a workplace, for example, let's stick to that, in a workplace, ayaw nila na ma-discriminate porket LGBTQIA sila. Kasi somebody can actually be up for promotion, but because possibly you're a member of the LGBTQIA community, ay baka hindi makuha ng taong yon yung kanyang promotion simply because of the sexual orientation.
Well, mali. I mean, all human beings, whatever the lifestyle might be, are human beings. And they ought to be protected. Nakalagay naman sa Constitution yan Pinky, no ha? In fact, the Constitution is already an enough law for us to be able to realize you do not be discriminatory to any forms or any lifestyle. No, I mean, the LGBTIQ they're rallying and nobody is saying anything against them. Sa mga piyesta, makikita mo, ang LGBTIQ talagang sila ang nangunguna dyan. Meron sila mga program and everything like this. Actually, meron pang among themselves, hindi sila nagkakasundo Okay? Meron po tayong LGBTIQ na talagang very decent yan. Very dignified po yan. Na makakita ka ng ibang mga LGBTIQ na talagang, talagang iba ang ginagawa na hindi din magugustuhan ng mga kasama nila. Okay? So, I mean, kung makakaroon tayo ng SOGIE bill becomes a law, we ought also to change the penal code on some forms of sexual crimes. You see, maraming babaguhin yan.
All right.
Pinky.
Okay. Congressman, we just need to take a very short break, but we'll continue our discussion on Facebook. We'll be right back. Congressman, very quickly, you were saying that you will not discriminate against the LGBTQIA+ community, but definitely you will not support the SOGIE bill.
No, I will not. I will not be involved in any kind of discriminatory act, whatever the forms might be, whatever the style might be. Kasi iniwala naman ako that one day we're going to face divine judgment, di ba? I mean, but the SOGIE bill, hindi ko pwedeng suportahan yan because that is class legislation that is giving a special right to a special group of people. Ayaw natin na later on, mabuksan yung Pandora's box of different other laws, different other bills that would give special right to a class of people, a group of people. Atin na po naman na suportahan na yung anti-discrimination bill, which is actually encompassing, involves all of discriminatory acts on all forms of people, all races, whatever it might be.
Congressman Benny Abante, sir, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras and good to have you too. Thank you, sir. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.